Hi everyone, it's Brian here at Briden Farm, and we've been doing a lot of videos about the goats and some about the pigs, and I thought it was time that we come back and showed you our garden. So the potatoes, which are here, as you can see, are starting to die back. I was just trying to do some quick math, I believe. I can see a nasturtium over there. Like the inner plant with various things. I believe the garden, the potatoes I think went in on May 11th, so that would be 20, 50, 81, about 91 days I think. Definitely better than last year. I'm not going to dig any out right now, but we have had a couple of meals of our new potatoes. Now something else that I do in our potatoes is I plant those little blossoms are green and yellow beans. These ones on this end I think are yellow, but actually if you look down in there you can see a bean. Picked a few of those. They didn't come particularly well. There's another one over there actually. The biggest reason that we plant those, 3 years in a row we've had no potato bugs. Now let me say, every year we have been on different soil, but no, not one have I seen. And I was reading about that companion planting, online a few years ago and decided to try it, and our beans seem to repel the potato bugs, and I've been trying to keep things covered up so that we don't get green potatoes. And here we have, this is my favorite plant, or my favorite herb I should say, because I think the potatoes behind is probably my favorite vegetable plant. My favorite herb is, this one doesn't have any open flowers on it, but this is borage. Now when the leaves get larger, they can actually hear it, possibly see it. The little barbs on the underneath, not barbs that will really hurt you, but they're just not real comfortable in the mouth. But the smaller leaves, especially on the smaller plants, are tender and taste like cucumber, which is pretty awesome. There's one blossom that's starting to open right there. Lamb's quarters. People look at it as a weed. When it's young and tender, it's absolutely edible, and I love it. And next to that is parsnip. We did have some beets. There's another, not doing so well, I think that broke off, another borage. And here is borage. We interplant these so that I can have a snack in the garden. Actually, we interplant these so that it helps to attract bees and pollinators. The same as our nasturtiums. In nasturtium, the flower, the leaf, and the seed are all edible. The seed you may know as capers. And the leaves are so good, almost like a peppery, not too hot, just a nice kind of peppery flavor, I guess is the way to describe them. Up here we have some various leaf lettuce, nice little snack in the garden also. And if you look, thanks to Bonnie, we got some tomato plants, because I had planted seed, and this is one of our tomato plants from seed. And this, if you look way up, No, it's not the Friendly Giant, but pretty close. Next to it, I believe, may be the Friendly Giant tomato plant. Those cages are 5 feet high. They're at least a foot above the ground where the tomato is planted. Little rooster out through the cage there. And there's Roscoe in the background. That plant starts there. The cage is at least a few inches to a foot. It's slanted on the leaning pole, and it goes to the top of the cage. So that tomato plant is, my guesstimation would be around 6 feet, and if you stretched it out, maybe even more than that. Has lots of blossoms on it. Has little tiny tomatoes, and the one next to it has a good number. I actually took a couple off of these and gave them to somebody a couple days ago. This one has some nice tomatoes coming on it. So somebody just asked what we use for fertilizer. Well, I'm going to say we don't. Now, let me correct myself. Can you see in there? Those are brown and black bovines, one white one, which I think we're probably going to keep. Black and brown bovines that we have for sale, $10 each. We get them from free range operations up the valley. They come here and do our fertilizing for us. We had some in here in the spring. Of course, last year we had our pigs and goats through here. This is some that we cleaned out from the rabbit pens, so there is some rabbit nuggets in there. But for the most part, when I weed the garden, you can see right in the middle of the screen, weed the garden, I put the weeds in a bucket of water and leave them for a week or two. The weeds take out micronutrients, and when you water that back on, strain it out, use the water. I actually fill up the bucket with clear water on top of whatever is there so that I don't burn my plants. Don't want it too hot. But the weeds take out the nutrients, and when you water with it, it brings them back. Actually adds the nutrients back into the soil. The other thing that we do, been only a few times this year, but we go fishing. The waste from our fish, we actually use that to make liquid fish fertilizer. Sorry for the blur. There we go. Wanted to bring it right in on that tomato. And that plant is probably 5 feet high. Some nice plum tomatoes coming on there. Beets. I usually don't do real well with beets, but this year, my better half, who absolutely loves beets, and if anybody has any extras, I'm sure he would appreciate them coming his way. We had some beet greens as we thinned them out, but I do think that we're going to be able to at least have a mess of, I broke that piece off, but pretty well gone anyway. Some decent beets coming under there. The
chicken was at the far end in the coop, sitting on the eggs there, the half-naked white chicken.
We have radios, and since I mentioned him and how if you have any extra beets, he might appreciate having them on this video, he must have subconsciously heard me say that, and he decided to radio about chickens. So these are our these are our cucumbers.
The chicken was in the back, the last nest. Sit on there, she's half naked, white one. How long has she been on the nest? Because she abandoned
Yeah, it's only her first or second day of being broody, so she should be okay. She'll probably be back on it tonight or tomorrow, talking about broody chickens. Although I am actually in the garden doing a video, so our conversation is actually going on the video.
Okay, sorry.
That's okay. I just wanted you to know. Anyway, I'll be out in a few minutes.
Okay.
That is, somebody tell me what that is, because that is something I don't remember planting. Now out in our compost bin we have some volunteer pumpkins, and so I'm not sure if that is a pumpkin or what. We do have some kind of looking sad. Probably could use some more watering, but they do get quite a lot of water. I water and make sure that they can at least an inch a week. Couldn't get there's another little treat right there. Onion greens. Couldn't get onion sets this year. But what I'm trying to say is these may become our onion sets for next year. But yeah, and these are our zucchini. Last year our tomatoes had blossom end rot. Now if you know anything about that, it's generally a lack of calcium. We do have some blossoms on the zucchini still, or again. So we may be getting more, which would be really nice. I put eggshells around the tomatoes this year and had no blossom end rot on the tomatoes that I know of at this point. We did have some on the zucchini, which we didn't put eggshells around because I never really thought about it. Thus I've been told by a number of people, including Kay, correctly, thank you Kay, that this is barnyard grass, which is actually a type of millet. It's growing here not because I planted it, but because it grew here. Very invasive, but yet at the same time, very tasty. I have tasted it. Used in a number of places for a type of flour, also used on fish, and so on. We're going to try to control it, and once, you know, we don't have a whole lot of it. I have some of it, and probably have some more next year, but in the fall, and maybe in the spring, we'll again have animals in here to do our fertilizing for us, and that will hopefully keep it at bay or at check. Although, if it's an edible plant that I can perhaps make flour out of, or use as a fish batter, or otherwise consume, then I'm not going to be real quick to get rid of it, especially in today's economy, in world situation. Anyway, happy thoughts. Here's a happy thought, and a little one next to it, which thankfully there's a few more possibilities. A lot of people had a lot of hard time growing cucumbers this year, and that's the only one that I see that's probably going to amount to anything here. Here is our garlic, thanks to you know who you are, and in amongst that you'll also see some beet greens, so beets possibly, and parsnip as well, interplanted, and so that's that bed. And there again is another look at our garden as it is right now. So, I say it's been over 15 minutes. It's our 15-minute garden tour. How's that? What a beautiful place. We are very blessed to be here. Some days we look at it and say, this is ours. And other days we look at it and say, this is ours. But you know what? We are very blessed to be here. And why would I want to be anywhere else? Ciao for now.